Okay, Honorable, welcome for today's episode of Synod House podcast.
Thank you, Honorable.
Yes, how is it today?
It's good. It's good. It's a good day. It's a good day to focus on the things that affect us.
Okay, welcome again, viewers, for to our show today. Thank you for tuning in.
Mm.
If you look on the screen, you see the topic that we have for today, which concern the Japa syndrome in Nigeria, which is starting to affect our health care system and the numbers that is coming up on the screen is not encouraging. So, Honorable, looking at this um what we have on the screen here, which said about 16, is it 16,000 doctors?
Honorable,
Um
the one you're sharing is only in a person way finish for university could learn hard work from person way no go primary school.
okay,
Mm.
okay, let me excuse sorry about that. Let's change that.
But I was going to say to suggest maybe carry on with this one, but yeah, let's no worries.
Yeah, let's because that one is very very pertinent to us,
Yeah.
you know, where we have about 16,000 doctors in a
Mm.
country that does not have enough, and with the depleted healthcare system, as this number of doctors are leaving Nigeria, is how do you see that, Honorable?
Yeah. It's to be honest with you, it's pathetic. Any other country in the world we drink, breast milk properly, these kind of numbers will send every like shivers to the spine. People will become scared. There will be a reaction. There will be an uproar. Sixteen
Mm,
thousand doctors in 5 years. By the way, 16,000 is just from reading the thing is almost like um, 20 something percent, if not up to 30% of the total number of doctors.
mm.
Yeah, because and then if you have other 16,000 doctors in living in 5 years, how many people are remaining? That'll be the first question. How many people are remaining?
That is the question. And if you look at this post, is from a reliable blog from Linda Ikeji, and
Yeah.
she quoted the coordinating minister of health as saying this, which means that is the statistics is not something that was picked from a roadside.
Mm.
So um
It's
you know,
crazy.
yeah, I don't know if that is a concern to our government, because I think one minister of health one time
Mm.
have said it that healthcare professionals can leave if they want, that we have enough. So,
uh,
and if you look at the statistics and ratios of especially doctors, this is doctors alone.
mm.
We are not talking about nurses, other healthcare professionals.
Mm.
Uh, so, in a country where the ratio of doctors per population is staggering,
Mm.
and we have them. I don't know if this is a concern to our leaders.
Obviously, it it's not. I wouldn't say it's a concern to them. It's superficially a concern
Mhm,
because to them it's more like, okay, what is it going to look like, the optics. But I don't
mhm,
think it's a concern so much so about whether the remaining number of doctors are able to cover adequately the need of the population. They
mm,
don't care about that one because at the end of the day, if any of them fell sick or fall sick, they have
mm,
they know where the airport is. They just fly themselves and their families over to the nearest uh, organized hospital.
Mhm.
and healthcare system. And that when they have that, why would they bother? That's the problem. That's the problem.
What you just says just brings to mind one notion that I've always had as a Nigerian system, which probably it was designed not to work.
Mm.
You can imagine in a system where even the health minister himself, their family doctor does not reside in Nigeria.
Ah.
The health minister, I can beat my chest that he seeks for medical help abroad. So, how is he going to show any concern? Even the presidency, from Senate president, senators, House of Assembly, ministers, even
Mm.
local government chairmen, they don't take medical treatment in Nigeria. So, if our health professionals are leaving, it's none of their business.
They don't care.
You see?
They don't care. To them, the is just a question of what, you know. How does it affect them? How does it affect their pockets? They know, for
Hmm.
instance, that there's a solution to this: train up more doctors.
Hmm.
That's very easy. Train up more doctors. Um, Other countries have done it. Doctors are not trained by just snapping your fingers. It's
Hmm.
something that you plan.
Yeah.
And in training them, you know that it costs you money. If you are going to train on, give incentives, tax breaks, and all that, to train up doctors, to invest heavily in that, you'll find that naturally you would want to keep what you spent money on. And that
Yes.
brings us to the second question: how do we keep the doctors that we've trained? So you start talking about salary. What's the main reason that is dragging them, drawing them to all these other countries? First thing is working conditions and salary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make it more, all this money that they used to buy, what do you call it? Buy all this, spend all this money on the cars and all that. This is one place where people will not just fall sick for falling sick, because they know that somebody that is sick can actually die.
Hmm.
So if we make it in such a way that those money that use to squander on all these other frivolities,
Mm.
that you can use it to, you know, encourage, to incentivize doctors, pay them more, make their life working conditions even more better. For instance, you could say, okay, we're paying slightly more, and for any time that you spend in clinic doing this, you can get slightly more. These are just little incentives that will not eat even deep into the money that they're used to, just the allowance they pay themselves on wardrobe. So by doing it this way, you find out that more doctors are willing to stay, to continue to stay. And by staying, you find out what they have invested in, they are reaping from it. Where I guess there's no political will, because the people
Mm.
who should do this are the same people who are trying to ruin the whole thing. Ruin the whole thing. That's the problem.
Yeah. It does look as if like our system from default it was designed not to work out.
Absolutely.
Even if you in a even private sectors, private hospitals,
Mm,
obviously before you can find a private hospital that has everything that it takes
mm,
to deliver a, a comprehensive care
mm,
is difficult. And if you're able to find one, probably those ones that have affiliations to abroad, maybe if something goes wrong, they'll fly the person out of. You can't even afford it. It's not for the masses.
mm-hmm,
So and now they seem like the doctors which are taking care of the poor masses, are living.
Mm.
It seems like it's not an emergency to anyone. So, are you that you're in a healthcare system?
Mm.
What can be done, if I may put that way?
Mm.
I know you have mentioned the salary and the conducive working environment, which I don't think that is the case. As we try to wrap up this section, what
Honorable, I think
to
your voice.
prevent our not only doctors
Your voice cut out, but I understand what you're asking is
and
what
that,
can be done to
yeah, yeah,
to to
to
keep our doctors
prevent this
brain drain.
mass exodus of healthcare professionals.
I think what should be done is very self-explanatory based on what. Okay, just take a look at why are these all these people moving to these new environments,
Hmm.
and then we try to replicate what they are going there for at home. Obviously, might not be able to get everything the way it is. You know, there are
Hmm.
things that it will take us a longer while to be able to get that to happen. You
Hmm.
understand? For instance, if a doctor says to you, the reason I'm going abroad is because I want all the roads. I don't like when I'm going to work, all the roads are not paved. It might not be very, very realistic to assume that that would happen. But there's a way we can at least move a little bit, meet them in the middle.
Mm,
You can say, okay, you're going abroad for the purpose of making more money. Money is good, right? But
mm,
what we need to do is to make sure that even if we can't pay you what they pay you in the US or in the UK or in Australia,
mm,
we will pay you a little bit more than what we normally pay you, and then we'll make it open for growth, such that as you continue to stay, the more you grow in earning.
mm,
So that becomes an incentive to stay longer.
mm,
So in practical sense, you can say Nigeria might not be able to pay you, might not be able to afford to pay you 20 naira all at once,
mm,
for argument's sake, but we can pay you 13 naira. And for
mm,
every year you stay, automatically you gain 50 kobo more or
mm.
30 kobo more. Now, what it means is that people who stay for longer will definitely earn more.
Yeah.
That 20 naira uh, should not be the kind of money that if you look at it, if you hear the sound of it, you start laughing. Like
Mm,
it should be something tangible. For instance, again, for argument's sake, if they are paying 15 naira in the UK, you can say, okay, let's pay you 25 naira to 30 naira here.
mm.
Yeah. But the problem is that it doesn't even come close to what a doctor earns abroad.
Sorry to cut you. Do you think environmental factors also contribute to this
Yeah,
max
that was why
exodus?
initially when I mentioned that the fact that some people might say, okay, I like wherever I'm doing working as a doctor to have paved road. I use that as an example to say that some people will be looking at things around the working, the work process.
Mm,
So, what are the equipment that I have? How do I feel? Um, how do I feel incentivized to work in this environment based on how easy I find it? I find to work here.
mm,
How do I feel job satisfaction? All those kind of things. And then again, start thinking about your expenses. These are all environmental factors.
mm,
So you find that in some places it might even work the other way around against people who live abroad. For instance, a doctor who works in London, who lives in London while working in London, might find that even though he earns 50 times more or 20 times, 30 times more or whatever, more than his counterpart in real terms, the counterpart who works in Nigeria,
mm,
but he spends way more and keeps, and it doesn't even manage to keep what the counterpart in Nigeria keeps at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So these are all environmental factors that can work for or against, and which the Nigerian industry should plan in such a way. You plan these things. That's what they. That now what Igbo people they do. You plan. You check about if this person earns this, how what incentivizes them to
Mm-hmm.
stay. You plan
Okay.
it that way. And if you're able to do it that way, I believe that more of our people will stay. The brain drain will reduce.
Well, in my opinion, I can say there's environmental factors and leadership and infrastructure factors, and there's a lot of things that
Mm,
contribute to that. Because if you see most of these people, I can say many of them feel undervalued.
mm-hmm,
Many of them go through their medical schools. If you happen that your parents are not well to do,
mm,
their medical school is like they go through it like it's through toys and suffering.
mm,
Because I have one of my friend, I've known this guy for nearly 18 years.
mm-hmm.
He just is the passionate, he just wants to be a medical doctor. I just want to give example of one of the environmental factors.
Yeah,
This guy was got admission in University of Calabar to study medicine.
yeah,
He was in year 4 and he was supposed to sit for one medical exam to progress to year 5.
mm,
And this medical exam was 100,000 naira.
mm,
This guy could not provide that 100,000. And because of that, he couldn't take that exam.
mm-hmm.
Then he has to go back again to start afresh.
Sad.
So if this guy now finished studying and he got opportunity to leave Nigeria, obviously.
That's it.
So the thing is, in Nigeria there is no incentives to encourage medical students,
That's it.
and even when they finish, they are undervalued.
That's
So
it.
there's a host of things that makes medical professionals. We are just talking about doctors. We are not talking about nurses.
Once you go to that one, because even at the rate of disrespect, if you like to put it that way,
Yeah.
you'll find still that nurses are even worse off. Doctors
Oh,
are even still better respected than nurses.
yeah.
Yeah, because you can imagine even in developed countries. When I say
Yeah.
developed countries, obviously, I don't like using that word developed countries, but I'll put it that way. Like the UK or whatever, if you can still see that ratio wise, the more nurses than doctors feel disrespected. So you
Mm.
can imagine what it would be like in places like Nigeria,
Mm.
where obviously being the subject of our discussion. So we're just the when you come to other allied health professionals, not just even doctors or nurses,
Mm.
the situation is even worse.
Mm.
So it's a sorry situation. The only reason we keep mentioning doctors and nurses is mainly because of how the position that they occupy. You see them more every day. If you did
Mm.
radiography, you send your distance off, and
Yeah.
it's done, and then you come back to the same nurses and doctors again. Anything you want to do, you can go and then come back to nurses and doctors.
Mm.
That's why it's crazy.
Well, let's I think we cannot what we're going to do is we're going to, in this case, I don't know where So in this case, in this matter, Honorable, what do you think? Is it a nay or is it an aye? Because this is a
You
pathetic
see, this
situation.
situation is a complete chaos situation. There's no way Nigeria should be comfortable. There's no way Nigerians should be comfortable with this kind of numbers. It's a disgrace.
Okay, that is fine. So on this note, we bring this section to close, and to our viewers, we say goodbye, and we'll see you in a short while as we go for recess, and
See you very
we'll
much.
catch up with you.
Yeah, see you soon.